And I remember going to my apartment that night, just going, what did I do? Like, just crying. Like, I made the biggest mistake of my life. But something in me just switched and said, wait a minute, what do you believe in? Why are you here?
Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Tiff and Tony Show. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Tiff and Tony Show. We have a guest with us today. Tony, do you want to introduce our guest?
Yes, certainly. Good morning. Our guest today is the wonderful Mary McGrath. She is awesome. We had her husband on the show a couple of weeks ago, and Mary does the same line of work. So good morning, Mary.
Thank you for having me. When you asked Eric to be here, I was like, oh, it's going to be my turn. And then I always have to go, I have to do my own thing and not live up to his under his shadow.
Brilliant. You will outshine him. I have no doubt. So we're going to jump straight into the first question here. What has been your biggest challenge over the last 12 months?
So March, and actually this time last year, when it became the pandemic, not knowing what was going to happen. I had just came out of our Bold program. And that's when everything changed. That Friday, we were coming off the mountain and the whole world shifted. And Tuesday, right after Bold, I ended up getting really sick. I started running a fever, had all the symptoms of COVID. And that was at the time where we didn't know what it was. I ended up in the hospital twice, in the ER, not being able to breathe. And I tested negative for COVID. But I was so sick for 5 weeks, like literally couldn't breathe, in so much pain, no energy, and my whole life changed. So in that moment of those 5 weeks, I couldn't get off the couch, and our company has always been face-to-face with training, and the world shuts down, and we're like, how are we going to do this? I'm not healthy. We can't go face-to-face, so what do we do? And I remember in that time where I started to feel a little bit better, and I'm glued to the news like everyone else is, and I'm seeing this state of chaos and fear. And all of a sudden something just turned in me and it said, be hope, right? It is that in order to give hope, we have to be hope. And I knew that more than anything, that's what people needed. And so that started the Leadership Now podcast that I do, the webcast. I just started doing kind of what you guys are doing. Is I started reaching out to people saying, what's your message? And how can I breathe hope into people? So I started doing that, reaching out in different ways from the home. And then Eric and I got really creative, and we knew that it's crazy how things like this happen, because we knew prior to the pandemic that we needed to do a virtual program, that we need to do different things, but we never had the time. And we had the largest contract ever in the history of Driven Leadership that was set, 2 of them actually, for the first of 2020. And of course we can't travel. And so one of the companies said, well, we're already paying you, so let's do this online and do it virtual, which started our Leadership for Managers program, which has been amazing. Like seriously, it's been our dream. It's what we knew. And the outcomes have been just incredible, which took us from so it's the paradigm shift. We always thought that we had to do it one way. And I think as leaders and as individuals, we get in our mindset that there's a certain way to do things. And it's so hard to get out of that, especially if you see results. And 2020 was the paradigm shift. It challenged all of our assumptions, not just us as Driven Leadership. I think it challenged every single person's assumptions of what is possible. And so the what is possible truly launched us into something completely different. We're really as a blend now. My word for this whole year for 2021 is health. But that was my focus for last year, was health in relationships, health in business, health in connection, health in just myself. So 2020 being so hard became seriously one of the best years ever.
So really the issue that you came, obviously health was an issue that you've been overcoming at the beginning of all of this, but then you walk into the chaos and confusion that something like this pandemic has created for everyone. And so that's really the issue, the underlying issue. How did you personally overcome within the organization this issue of confusion and chaos to come out to make 2020 the best year of your life? You said that you launched a couple of things, but how did you see into that to be able to sit there and go, this is my focus? What was it? What did it take for you to do that?
So I'm really big on journaling, and I have for years. I'm a deep thinker. I'm very introspective. And I'm not gonna lie, I was panicked, for the first month as well, and then the fear. But I was listening to, it was a live, so it was supposed to be this live session where people were coming in and they decided to take it virtual. And Dr. Henry Cloud was on there, and I'll never forget. This was my shifting point. Is he said, just think about in life. We go through these periods in life where we're on autopilot, and there's so much noise, so much filter, and so we just go through it, and our brain is processing. I know how to do this. I know how to do this, and we don't even think. And all of a sudden, he goes, just pretend like someone moved a couch in front of your refrigerator, and you're going to the refrigerator to get something to eat, and also you see this couch, and you're like, what is this couch? Like, what's happening? But your brain can process it's a couch. And it's like, okay, so you either go around the couch or you move the couch. You know what to do. He said, but with the pandemic, all of a sudden there's something happening and no one has seen it, no one's done it, no one's heard it. We don't know what to do. And it just spoke to me because I was in that place of fear going, I don't know what to do. And his whole message was focus on what you can do. And so that became my mantra every day is, what can I do today? How can I get through today? What's the difference I can make today? What's the impact?
You nailed so many things there. There's so much content there. And Driven, that's what you do. You mentioned coming off the mountain doing Bold. Bold is an amazing experience, experiential. It really does. It's a retreat that it gets you to dig deep into who you are, what you value, what you want out of life, and really in an experiential way that gets you to open that up and come off the mountain in a way that gets you to see the world differently and act the world differently. It really is a shifting in behavior experience. And now you've got the follow-up that goes with that within the leadership management classes and all that sort of stuff. But you hit home on so many things there. And I think the one thing is take control of what you can take control of, do what you can do, and then the rest will take care of itself almost, which is really good. That kind of stuff brings clarity out of confusion. Right? It brings a calmness out of chaos because I know I can control this. So I'm going to do this. That's it. Tiffany, what have you got for Mary?
Yes, so I love that you touched on fear and health, and I want to dig a little deeper and find out from you, what are some tangible ways in your life personally that you've been able to challenge that fear, even from the story that you shared or in other parts of your life, challenge the fear to get to where you're at now?
Oh, wow, where do we start? There's so much fear in my life, and it's crazy because I'm getting emotional. My life was, there were so many challenges. Whew, I didn't expect this to happen.
Take your time, take some deep breaths if you need it. We're in no rush.
So many expectations in my life. My father meant well, and he was very, very religious, a lot of rules. And I always had to live in a box. And I just remember, it's like my mantra is like Dr. Seuss, right? Why fit in when you're born to stand out? And it was me. It's like I was meant to stand out, and I always pushed, and I got in trouble a lot. And so I took the hard road, like so many times I took the hard road. But what it taught me was, if it scares me, what am I willing to do? And there was always a fighter in me. It's like I fought for truth, I fought for justice, I fought to have my voice heard, whether, you know, people went to take it away. But I was a fighter, like I was a fighter. And I moved from Washington State to Las Vegas to go work for a leadership company, scared out of my mind, because I'd always had stability. And I went on commission. And not only was I commission only, my daughters decided not to come with me. And I remember my kids saying, "You better prove them wrong, Mom. You better," because everyone thinks you're gonna quit. And I remember just going, whew. I mean, the whole world is on my shoulders, and now I have to lean in and step into what I never, you know, what people wanted me to fail. And the first 3 months I was there, so the first 2 months they put me on a salary at this company. The third month they said, "You're doing so well, we're gonna make you commission only." It's November. My kids are supposed to come out in December. And I'll never forget, I tanked. I made $320 in the whole month of November. Okay, so my rent was much more than that. And I was like, how am I gonna get my kids out here? And it was in the pivot place of, I messed up, right? And my daughters in their mind going, "Mom, you got this, you got this, you got this." And I remember going to my apartment that night, just going, what did I do? Like, just crying, like I made the biggest mistake of my life. But something in me just switched and said, wait a minute, what do you believe in? Why are you here? And I always had this burning desire to help people to be better, because that's what I needed as a teen, right? I needed someone that believed in me, who came alongside me. And so if I could do that for anyone, like that was my dream. And I remember going, okay, so what now? That became my mantra. I can't change the past, but I got today. And whatever I can do today, it's the little things that I control. It's going to set me up. And the next morning I remember going in, it's December 1st, you know, it's a new month. And I blew the doors off. In fact, they had tiers. And I was one of the top 2, they called them leadership training advisors, where I hit a different bonus structure. And I was just like, that is facing fear. And so Eric, at that time, we were just friends. And he said, "You hit this bonus structure, I'm gonna take you bungee jumping." So bungee jumping, I was like, whoo. But what I did is I went up there, and so I always been one to face my fears, no matter how scary it is, but I always look for the lesson. And I remember up at this little platform, looking down, going, holy shit, you know, scared. And the guy's talking to me, and I go like, wait a minute, what does this mean to me? And so I changed that whole fear into, it's a celebration. And I remember just saying, this is my dream. This is who I am. And I'm just like running. Every time I have a big fear, it's like, what does this mean? What can I do to take and embrace it and help take me forward? When fear is there knocking, I always say it's that thing that we have the opportunity to lean in. And that's where our confidence, that's where life happens. If we can just push past that fear, life is on the other side of it. And that's been my whole mantra in life. It's like, embrace it, move through it, because out there is life, and it opens up doors like we've never ever seen before.
And I love so many things about that. One thing is what you just said relates exactly to what Eric was saying when we met with him a few weeks ago, is embracing the suck.
And we have to be willing to look at that. That's where growth happens, right? Is that we have to say, all right, so what now what? What don't we know? What don't I know? How can I learn? And, you know, Eric says, embrace the suck. Mine is, our mess becomes our message. So whatever the mess is, if we look at it, go, what did we learn? What did I learn? And how can I use that to help other people, knowing it's okay. It's okay to embrace the messy. It's okay. You know, life isn't defined by what we've done or the things that have happened or what I just did 5 minutes ago. It's, what did I learn? Pick myself back up and move forward. but we have to get out of that funk. But first, know it's okay, right? It's okay to embrace the suck. It's okay to go, I'm scared right now. I don't know what to do. Okay.
Yeah.
So what do I want?
Yeah. And it's that feeling of acknowledging the feelings that are going on, but then saying, who is it that I want to become, and living that person. So you said hope is your thing. So you are now going to live hope. And then by living it, you become it. And then by becoming it, you spread it, which is such a beautiful picture right there. Mary, this has been such an awesome and inspiring interview. You have definitely outshone your husband. I am looking forward to telling him that when I next see him. Tiffany, thank you for your time. Any last words for our listeners?
Just wherever you're at, just know it's okay. You're okay. It's going to be okay. Take it one day at a time, focus on what you can control, and embrace the mess. And I love the analogy of the baby, when, the baby is born and we don't expect it to walk. It can't walk when it's born, but we celebrate every success along the way, from it smiling to rolling over to crawling to sitting up, standing, and then taking its first step. And then the baby takes the step and it falls down. We don't yell at the baby going, oh my gosh, you should be running by now. We just pick it up and we give it grace, right? And we celebrate. But as adults, we don't do that to ourselves. We expect to be running when we don't even know how to smile.
Yeah.
So to start it off going, I'm so flippin' proud that I did this. So what can I do better? Yeah.
Well, I have nothing to add to that because that was amazing and very motivating and inspiring. So thank you so much for being here with us, Mary. Tony, as always, thank you. And we will see everyone next week.
Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for joining us in this week's episode of the Tiff and Tony Show. We hope you feel encouraged and motivated to keep growing with us. If you like what we do here at Pure Game, one of the best ways you can support us is by liking and sharing this video with your friends on social media. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel using the button directly below this video on YouTube, and you can donate at our website, www.thepuregame.org. And with that, we'll see you right back here next week.